Hot tag time. We are going to talk about well, whatever topics pop up, but for the most part, three little topics here. Actually, no, not three little topics. One little one that we'll get into a lot more later, and one semi big one. So that's a complete fuck up on my part. Uh, Little one first off. WrestleMania 30 is going to be in New Orleans. My whole thing about this is I don't really like that idea. I wanted it to be in Madison Square Garden, but all right, well, whatever. If you don't want to do the typical every 10 years is at Madison Square Garden kind of a thing, then
Well,
it could have done worse. At least they're going to go for a big stadium kind of thing.
well, to
So,
be fair, like the WrestleMania this year is pretty close to New York. So with that in mind, I didn't think they were going to go back to MSG, considering the Hall of Fame's going to be there this year. With them being as close to like the venue anyway, I didn't think that they'd put the next year's WrestleMania there. I don't know. I think that it's kind of cool that after the whole hurricane that happened many years ago and all that, they're finally going to get like the big spectacle. I believe this is the first time New Orleans is going to host a WrestleMania.
I
Yes, it
Quote
I
is.
me
just
if I'm
hope
wrong on
that
that.
I just hope that Brock Lesnar doesn't pop back up and it's the perfect storm again.
Mhm.
Oh, that's terrible. but but yeah,
You
like
are a twat, Tony. In a
we
good
were
sense, of course.
we were all thinking it.
yeah, pretty much. But no, I like it. I think it's a great thing for the city. I think it's a great, I think the venue's pretty great, and I think we'll be in for a great show for WrestleMania porn, or I mean 30 XXX.
Did you say WrestleMania porn?
Yeah, triple X. That's the actual logo they're going with. I thought
But
they'd
now
go
they
for a
were
30
tag
for
team.
sure.
That
Oh,
was
they
like a
were
tag team.
too.
So
Christopher
yeah.
Daniels. Okay, we're getting up top. I'm not talking about TNA. Fuck that.
Anybody want to tag in for that with anything
Yeah,
new?
I find it's awesome in regards to WrestleMania. It's you know, it's nice that WWE actually go into territories now that they've never been before.
Absolutely.
It needs to happen, and hopefully, I'm still waiting on a WrestleMania coming to the UK. I'm still fingers crossed, legs crossed, arms crossed, nutsack crossed, just so that that can happen. But we'll see. Yeah. Well, what's the next one?
Anything to weigh in on there, Mike Payton?
I mean, what's to say? Good for New Orleans. I hope they have a great time. At this point, I hope they don't start losing track of that they need to make WrestleMania 29 the greatest show of all time, and next year they can worry about making WrestleMania 30 the greatest show of all time.
Good point.
I think that's actually
Uh,
what they're doing.
the topic that we're going to talk a lot more about later is Jack Swagger was arrested for driving under the influence and having not only speeding but possession of marijuana.
It'd be
Essentially,
so awesome if he was speeding and he was on speed.
yeah.
Then we could say he's a speed demon.
The essentially all I want to say for this right now, because I don't want to get into any booking stuff. We're going to talk about that during the Elimination Chamber match review. Is just what a fucking idiot. He has the potential here to lose out supposedly on $250,000
Yeah.
by doing this and not waiting a couple of fucking weeks or not even doing it at all because of the fact that he's had problems in the past with marijuana according to the wellness policy and everything like that. So
That's why he got depushed before.
right. So, way to prove that you're a more mature adult and you could be trusted with a world championship match at WrestleMania than to speed and get arrested and have marijuana on your possession. Like,
You know what pisses me off more? He's a father. He's a father of a little
right.
baby. Yeah. And you're doing that. At least when basically I got that all out of my system before I moved on to fatherhood. If I was doing that shit and I had my kids, I would be a fucking idiot too. That's just ridiculous, Jack. What the fuck were you thinking, man? Seriously. Yeah, you had the ability to move up the card and cement yourself as a main eventer on SmackDown. You fucked that up. Weed the people.
Literally within like 2 days after being granted such a match, he goes and gets busted for being under the influence of an illegal drug that he had in his vehicle. What a fucking idiot.
Am I the only one who really doesn't think this is that big of a deal?
Well, it
Yep.
probably won't be. He'll probably still get the match, but he's definitely has no chance of ever winning the title again now.
He's lit. basically, if Rob Van Dam has anything to live by, because if the WWE doesn't do anything about it,
Well, no, this is
are...
very different. Rob Van Dam was an ECW guy, and that's why they gave up on him a lot easier than they did with Jack Swagger.
No. He had a ton of hype around him. He was a bona fide main eventer.
He was pretty over too. Something like that. Van Dam was very
extremely over. He fucked up, and he fucked up big time. And instead of actually sitting there and saying, maybe, I bit off more than I could chew, he sat there and ripped the shit out of them because they stopped his push. The reason why they stopped his push is because he acted irresponsibly. Look, you want to do drugs? That's fine. Don't do it while you're freaking in a business where you've got to take care of someone in the ring. You're doing stuff like that, and you're in a business where you're going to basically, anything you do, if your senses are impaired and I'm carrying someone like Braden through a match, I'm going to kill him. Because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing in that ring, and that's the problem.
Well, he's not doing it during the match.
He's
you can't accuse him of
driving
that.
and doing it. Come on.
Driving and doing it in a match is very, very different.
Oh,
well, on top of that, though, you shouldn't be doing it while you're driving anyway, because if you get busted,
well,
you're going to look unprofessional as fuck. It's going to make you look bad to the company when you're in the middle of a WrestleMania World title push. It might not be the biggest push you could be getting, but it's still somewhat relevant.
And a negative stigma that he's given the company by doing this. And that's the whole point. That's one of the main reasons they de-pushed Van Dam. You are on the top of the pedestal. You're a main eventer. And the tabloids eat this up. TMZ is going to eat it up. Everybody on the planet is going to sit there and point the finger at the WWE. There's already been heat on Linda McMahon when she was running for Senate because she was getting ripped the piss out of for stuff they did in the Attitude Era. And that's the biggest thing. You can't do that. You can't be in a main event and get busted for something like that. Look at Evan Bourne. He hasn't even returned to television yet.
Well, he's just injured too. Yeah, he's injured.
Partly because he's injured. But do you think he'll ever be in the position on the card that he was before? Do you think he'll win a title?
He might make it back there, but come on, he was a tag team competitor.
Yeah,
his situation isn't anywhere near comparable.
No, but he's going to be jobbing. They'll job him out.
He was jobbing before though. Yeah,
he
could be jobbing more now. Is his point?
Essentially, my whole thing with this is that if you came from not getting a push, and you spent months where they were not using you, and from what we've heard, it was mostly because they didn't trust Jack Swagger because of all the marijuana shit. Now I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but if that
maybe this kind of proves that it is.
If that is what it is, then he obviously didn't learn a damn thing, and he.
It's not.
Listen, marijuana is not as negative as a stigma as it once was. That's why when you get busted with marijuana through their wellness program, it's a fine, not a suspension. No, and it's not just the WWE; it's the country in general that's looking better at it. That's why we got it legalized in states like Washington and Colorado.
Doing it in your own home is fine. Doing it basically in an environment where you're not, where you're not around kids or you're not around anybody else is fine. But doing it while driving, that's just as bad as drink driving. I wouldn't condone
it's not as bad, but it's still a criminal offense.
Yeah, no, but you're still impaired while doing it.
Yes, exactly. It's still impaired driving, and that's bad. Yes.
I called Jeff Hardy a cock when he walked into the ring intoxicated, defending the TNA Championship. I will call Jack Swagger a cock for basically getting busted with drugs on him. Any way you slice it, it's still something that's there to impair your senses and make you feel emotions and feel.
Let's be very clear. Marijuana is not a drug.
It is a drug.
And it does not impair you necessarily. Some people, it actually enhances their senses.
Dude, I used to be on it myself, and I can tell you.
That's great, and that's how it affected you. It affects each person differently.
No.
Well, before we get into the whole marijuana, because I don't want to make this a 20-minute segment.
Too, people. There's still more swagger to come. Don't worry.
All I want to say about the situation is, marijuana aside, because I personally am not an advocate of marijuana, and I don't even drink, so I would rather people not drink, smoke, nothing like that. The thing that I see it more as is being unprofessional about going against company rules, because if they tell you that you need to show up and wear a suit, if you don't do that, you're just as at fault as doing something that the wellness policy is going to fine you for or whatever. But on top of that, if this has some kind of legal ramifications to it too, that just makes it all that much worse. I mean, if he would have gotten busted for beating somebody up or something like that, it still would have been a huge problem to me. So
Oh no, they just make you a world champion after you do that.
yeah.
Yeah, but the thing about me is not wearing a suit is not going to kill somebody. Basically, being under the influence of anything, right, no matter what it is, and you're believing driving a car, you need your head examined, and that's the thing that WWE got to look at.
Well, the other hot tag that we got to talk about, because I don't want this to go on for too long, is
Sure.
the new WWE Championship title belt, and I'm going to kind of rush us a little bit here because we are going a lot longer than I thought we were going to with the 20-minute first segment and everything. Essentially, if you can sum it up in about 30 seconds, what do you think about the new title? The more time goes by, the more I like it. I do think, though, that I wish it had a nameplate, even though we might see the personalization on the side plates. And the other thing I don't like about it is I think it's a little bland with the WWE. I want that globe or the eagle or something behind it. But other than that, I think it is a step up from the spinner belt. So I'm all for it.
Good riddance, fucking spinner belt.
Oh, damn,
I don't see the issue with it not having a nameplate. Nameplate started with the Undisputed title in 2002. Every other championship before that for the WWE title didn't have that. I just see the big W as kind of looking like what their logo looks like in general, just the white W with a black background. I can see why that would rub people the wrong way. It's like, ooh, marketing. But they're a sports entertainment company. It's a huge step up from the spinner belt. Good fucking riddance to it. Thank God we got a new championship. We waited 8 years. I'm finally happy that fucking thing's gone. And we have a new championship. And custom side plates is a very interesting idea if they do go that way. Unique,
Agreed.
so to speak.
Everything Braden said, good riddance to the fucking spinner belt.
Peyton?
Gosh. I don't hold as much hate for that spinner belt as a lot of people seem to. I didn't particularly like it. I think the biggest problem was just that it looked like a toy. Yeah. I think it was very fitting for John Cena when he had it, but it looked very out of place on people like The Miz and CM Punk especially. So what I thought could have been cool, what it seemed like they were going to do for a while, like we're talking about the custom side plates, I thought they were going to do that with the spinner at one point because they had Edge having the custom spinner plate, and even The Miz had the upside down M. They could have kept that going. They didn't. I don't know. So I hope they do that with this one. I think it's a cool idea, making the custom side plates. It's a step up. It's a step in the right direction. It could have been better, but it is what it is. It's still kind of cool. I like it.
All right. Hot tags are done. We're going to go into the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view review and results. And we're going to start that off with the pre-show in the next segment. So part 3 is going to roll your way right now. And then we'll move on match by match and knock all that out.